guys, so I've just filmed my 35-week update, so if you want to check that out then click up here or in the description bar. You have to excuse me, I'm all wearing about a million jumpers because my husband's asleep upstairs and I'm in the coldest room in the house. So, and he's being a bit tight at the moment and won't let me put the heating on because the heating bill has been quite a lot. Anyway, back to the point of the video. So today I'm going to be filming a video about or highlighting the kind of issues. It's basically about pregnancy after infertility. So this is about kind of whether you've been through IVF treatment or fertility treatment or never even been diagnosed and just never really been able to conceive and then suddenly conceived. It's kind of talking about the anxieties and the issues that you may face and kind of ways to overcome them. So I'll tell you a bit about my story. My story is pretty simple actually. I went through 7 years of infertility. Basically I didn't ovulate in those 7 years, I didn't have periods in those 7 years, mainly due to weight, and my weight was so low that I wasn't able to kind of ovulate, which of course affected my bones and my calcium levels, which then turned into osteoporosis. So the only way that I could get my body back or to get my bones replenished was to kind of put estrogen in my body, so that was by taking a contraceptive pill, but not for contraceptive reasons. So it was kind of a real battle. I wanted to not take the pill because obviously I knew I wouldn't be able to get pregnant, but then if I didn't take the pill then my bones would get thinner, so it was a real kind of like I had to weigh up, you know, the risks, and unfortunately my bones did get the brunt of it, and I do have problems with that. But I eventually got my periods back. I was able to gain back a little bit of weight, but it wasn't that much, but for some reason my periods started to come back, and I was obviously then ovulating, but I still wasn't conceiving. So after we got married, we decided to really try for a baby, and because before then I was never really trying, I just kind of didn't use anything, and obviously to be trying for a baby you need to be kind of doing the deed every other night. That's what they say, trying for a baby is doing it every other night. So we decided to try for a baby pretty much in the January before we got married. And it took me about 6 to 7 months, I think, to actually conceive after I found out I was ovulating. So it still took me a while, but it was still an absolute miracle, because I really did think that after so many years of not ovulating, I thought, well, I'm ovulating now, so why can't I conceive? But it's just one of those things, you know, it will happen when it happens, I do believe, but particularly if I knew I was ovulating. So so when I found out I was pregnant, I thought it was going to be wonderful. I thought that all my problems would go because I'm pregnant and so everything's okay. But it was actually the complete opposite. I was an absolute nervous wreck, and I couldn't enjoy the pregnancy at all. Now I had so many problems at the beginning. Like when you're pregnant for the first time, you just don't know what to expect. So for example, 6 weeks, when I was 6 weeks pregnant, I actually had an appointment with the infertility clinic, but we went down anyway because we needed to tell them the situation, and I also thought that they might give me a scan. Especially as it was in the maternity unit, and the reason I wanted a scan is because on that day of the appointment I was in absolute agony. I thought that I was going through some kind of ectopic pregnancy or miscarriage or something, and they couldn't do a scan there, so they shipped me over to A&E, and I was convinced that I was having an ectopic pregnancy. And the next day was when I was able to get in for a scan, and it was the longest hours of my life, the longest evening of my life, just sheer worry. And I got in for an early pregnancy scan, and there was this little bean with a little heartbeat, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was so shocked, like I thought, oh my god, I'm pregnant. Like really, when you can see it, you can't believe it. And the lady wasn't particularly supportive. She was just like, you know, well, pregnancy's painful and all this kind of stuff. She wasn't really kind of, oh, excuse me, the dog. She wasn't very kind of understanding. Patch! Oh, wow, I've just been to answer the doorbell and look what I've received. some absolutely stunning flowers for my 30th birthday. So I'm going to open that up and find out who sent that to me. Yeah, so sorry, I got completely interrupted when the doorbell went, and I received some beautiful flowers off my mum and dad, so that was very nice for my 30th birthday. But yeah, so I felt that people weren't taking me very seriously, and they were just kind of looking at me like a crazy, you know, insane person. And sorry about the dog squeaking his little squeaky toy. And yeah, so it became like the longest. The first trimester was just so long, and it just dragged out, and I couldn't enjoy it at all. I had an album on my phone where I was trying to document the kind of progress of my pregnancy, so like taking pictures of my bump, and I couldn't even call it pregnancy or anything. I just called it that album, and it's still actually called that now because I just couldn't bring myself to kind of letting go and enjoying it. All my pregnancy notes, all my kind of letters and things, leaflets and stuff that I'd received, my pregnancy test, everything was in this kind of brown paper bag that was shoved in my cupboard. And the brown paper bag was there because I had said to my husband, if for whatever reason I miscarry, or if there's something goes wrong, you are to take that paper bag and you go out and you burn it, because I just couldn't face having to undo all that. I just wanted, you know, him to be able to know where it was so he could take it and burn it. It was just got so bad. I couldn't save the midwife's number on my phone because I couldn't bear the thought of having to delete her number if something went wrong. So yeah, and I had paid, after that first scan, I had paid to have constant private scans. So I must have had, I don't know how many I had, but I had a lot. It must have been about five or six, I think, before my 12-week scan. It was like nearly one every week. And I'd paid, my husband wasn't willing to pay for that, which understandably, you know, because they are expensive. So I was paying for that, and I was spending all the money that I was, it was the heat of summer, so I was doing tons of weddings at the time with my makeup, and I was just spending all the money from the makeup on the scans because I just was so scared all the time that something was wrong, and just couldn't kind of let go and enjoy the pregnancy. I didn't tell anyone that I was pregnant until 12 weeks, so that's quite normal. Most people usually tell friends and family or announce their pregnancies after their 12-week scan, because then they know that everything's all right and they're at that safe mark. It's absolutely fine to tell beforehand, but I think it has its pros and cons. So the pros of telling people earlier are the fact that you do get more support, and you do kind of have people there who are supporting you and guiding you along the way. But then the cons are that if something was to happen, then you have to kind of tell everyone. Whereas if like doing all the way I did, which was announcing the pregnancy at 12 weeks, then you know you've been for your scan, you know everything's okay, and you're past that safe zone, so you're less likely to have anything go wrong. You know, but at the same time, you haven't got that support at the beginning of the pregnancy. So there was that, and towards my second trimester my anxiety lessened slightly. I purchased a Doppler, which really helped me, but one thing I will say about getting a Doppler is that get it kind of when you're like at 13-14 weeks, because you may not pick up the heartbeat beforehand, and it's so worrying to not pick up the heartbeat. It could just be where the baby's sitting, and because the baby's so tiny. So there's that, and also the fact that a lot of the time, even though you can hear a heartbeat, just because you can hear a heartbeat doesn't mean something's right. So if you're bleeding and you listen to the Doppler and you hear a heartbeat, just because you can hear that heartbeat doesn't mean you shouldn't go and get checked out. You should always go and get checked out. It's kind of something. It should be treated like a toy, like just something for enjoyment. It's not like a diagnostic equipment. So don't use a Doppler to kind of diagnose yourself. It's just not a good thing to do. So, and another thing that I think is really difficult is that you have every right as a mother or expectant mother, pregnant woman who has gotten pregnant after infertility to grumble about your pregnancy. You have every right to do that. The amount of times I've seen women go, oh, don't moan, you know, you're lucky you can even have a child. And I think, well, I've been there at that point where you feel like you're never going to get your child, you're never going to get what you want. But it doesn't mean I haven't got the right to grumble. You know, I'm still in pain, I'm still struggling, I'm still can't breathe, I still can't eat. You have every right to grumble, because pregnancy is tough on your body. It's really, really hard. You put your body through so much, and it's quite amazing how much you put your body through. So you have every right to grumble, regardless as to your history. Because grumbling is just a way of coping at the end of the day. So yeah, my ways, and then I found as the obviously kind of must have probably got to about 22, 23 weeks, and I started to get, my anxiety started to get less and less, and I didn't even need my Doppler at that point. I haven't listened to my Doppler for a long time because I don't need to hear my baby's heartbeat. I can feel him now, I can feel him moving. So that's my reassurance, really. And also, I know that you guys who are in your early stages of pregnancy are thinking to yourself, this is going to take ages. Believe me when I tell you that the pregnancy will fly so fast. It will go so fast, and you know, because each week, you know, you always get to Monday, don't you? Like, it's Monday again, or it's the end of the weekend again, but that's actually another week. That's another week forward, and before you know it, you'll be at that 12-week mark, and each week that you go by, and each week that everything with your pregnancy is fine, is another week where your baby is growing stronger and stronger. And one interesting thing that my GP said to me as well, she said pregnancies are extremely robust. They are so robust that you know, just because you've lifted something or carried something doesn't mean you're going to hurt yourself or the baby. It doesn't mean you're going to hurt the baby. They are very, very robust. My body's been through a pretty rubbish time throughout this pregnancy with various illnesses and other things, and touch wood, so far, well, I've made it to 35 weeks. So you know, there were many times when I've been so ill with chest infections and flus and all kinds of really horrible problems, and so far everything, touch wood, has been fine. So yeah, I don't know what more I can kind of say on that. Just kind of really be pushy with your healthcare provider and explain to them your situation, because especially if you've been through like IVF, or you've been through taking some like injections or Clomid or whatever, you've been through so much. A lot of money has been spent on your treatment, a lot of time has been spent on your treatment, and more than anything, a lot of heartache and heartache has gone into your treatment. That why should you just be left on the shelf and be treated like, you know, a normal pregnancy? You shouldn't, because it's, you know, this is an incredibly important time emotionally, if not for just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It's an incredibly important time, and you really do need all the support that you can get. So yeah, and also another issue that I've experienced is that, and I think it goes back to the beginning when I had just totally dismissed the pregnancy. Everything was, if our son's born, if I don't miscarry, if I don't do this. It was always kind of slightly negative, which is quite uncharacteristic of me. Is that I have more now, like now I feel more of a bond with my baby, but not like other people. I noticed on my news feed, a lot of people are just very like, oh, I love my baby so much already. I love my baby so much already. I can't wait to meet my baby. Oh, my beautiful baby already. I love him so much, or I love her so much. And I'm like, why can't I be like that? I do not feel that at all, especially not at the gestations that these people are at. I never felt that at all. I didn't feel emotionally connected at all, because I couldn't be emotionally connected. I was so frightened of losing our child. I was so frightened of miscarriage. I totally did not let myself get emotionally attached or connected in any way, shape or form to my baby. I just couldn't do it. And that was at the beginning, and now we're later on, I'm getting there. I need him to be born, and I need him to be in my arms safe, which is, now I'm really excited about that, whereas before I was really anxious. And I feel like I will have a beautiful, loving bond with him, and I will love him so much that there won't be any words, but I can't feel that love for him now. And I think a lot of it goes back to this kind of defense, protection mechanism. that I put up in order to stop myself from feeling emotion towards the baby. Sorry about that, the camera keeps cutting out, but yeah, basically that was pretty much all I wanted to say. And if you've got any queries or questions, or if you've got any comments, either leave them in the description bar, send me an email, or message me on Google+, and you can get me there. I'm currently in the process of setting up a Facebook account for my channel, and I also want to thank everyone for my subscriptions. I've noticed that I've gotten to, all of a sudden, I went from something like, I don't know, 15, 16 subscribers to 64, and as I've looked again, it's gone up again. So I just want to thank you all so much. Please keep sharing the page, please keep subscribing. The channel's only going to get better, and I've got so many more videos planned. So yeah, anyway, take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.